The sun had just set, painting the sky in hues of orange and pink as I sat at the kitchen table, absently stirring my coffee. Life had been quiet in the last few months, too quiet, in fact. After the chaotic years of moving from place to place, trying to outrun the mess I had gotten myself into, I had found a little peace in a small house at the edge of town. It wasn't much, but it was mine. The day-to-day hustle seemed far away, and I felt like maybe, just maybe, I was finally getting my life back on track. That was until she showed up again. The knock at the door was soft but persistent, like someone who knew they had a story to finish. I wasn't expecting anyone, so my heart skipped a beat when I opened it. Standing on my doorstep was a woman, her presence as striking as it was familiar. Her skin shimmered faintly in the fading light, a soft luminescence that seemed out of place in the ordinary world. Her hair flowed like liquid silver, cascading down her back in waves. And her eyes were the same glowing amber that had haunted me for years. "I've come for you," she said simply, her voice a calm melody that made my heart race. Our story isn't over. It was her, the alien woman, the one who had vanished from my life years ago, leaving me with more questions than answers. Her name was Alara, though I never knew if that was her true name or just the one I had assigned to her. I had met her in the most inexplicable of ways, through a cosmic rift that pulled me into a story far beyond my understanding. She had appeared in my life like a burst of stardust, captivating and elusive. And just as quickly, she had disappeared, leaving only the lingering memory of our strange connection. I stood frozen in the doorway, trying to process her sudden reappearance. How? How did you find me?" Ilara's gaze softened, and she stepped closer, her presence enveloping me like the air around us was charged with electricity. "I never left. I've been watching you, waiting for the right time." I felt a cold chill run down my spine, a mix of awe and apprehension. There had always been something more to our connection, something I could never fully understand. But hearing her say that she had been watching me, waiting for me, was unsettling, even though I couldn't deny the longing that had always simmered beneath the surface. "You've been watching me?" I repeated, my voice faltering. "All this time?" "Yes," Ilara said, her voice gentle. "The bond we share is stronger than time, stronger than distance. When I left, I never truly let go. You are part of something larger than you realize, and our paths are destined to intertwine again." The words felt surreal, like a dream I had once had and now found myself living. I had always wondered if she would return, but I had never imagined it would be like this, standing on my doorstep in the twilight, her golden eyes filled with something deeper than I could comprehend. "I don't understand," I said, stepping back to let her into the house. "What do you mean by destined to intertwine? What's going on, Ilara?" She entered, her movements fluid and graceful, almost too perfect for a human. She closed the door behind her and turned to face me. "You are part of a greater plan, something that neither of us fully understands yet. What we shared before, it was just the beginning. The universe has a way of drawing people together, especially when their fates are aligned." The words she spoke were familiar, but the weight of them felt heavier now. The air around us seemed to hum with energy, and I couldn't help but feel the pull, the invisible thread that had connected us since the moment I had met her. I sat down on the couch, trying to make sense of the chaos inside me. "But I don't get it. You left. You disappeared, and I was left with nothing but questions." Ilara's eyes darkened, and she knelt beside me, her hand gently brushing my arm. "I had to leave. It was not safe for you, or for me, to stay. Our connection, what we shared, was a catalyst, something that could not be explained by your world's logic. The universe has its own plans, and sometimes, even we must follow them." I couldn't help but feel the ache of abandonment that had been with me since she vanished. The feeling of being pulled into something I couldn't control and then being left behind was still raw. But even as the bitterness rose within me, I couldn't deny the longing to know more, to understand the part one played in whatever cosmic story we were part of. Why now? I asked, my voice softer. Why come back now? Because the time is right, Ilara said, her tone unwavering. The events that we set in motion have reached a turning point. You are needed. Our fates are not yet finished, and the universe has a new task for us. Together, we can change the course of things. Change the course of things? I repeated, struggling to grasp the enormity of what she was saying. What does that even mean? What task? Ilara's gaze softened, and she stood up, walking over to the window. The sky outside was darkening, and the stars were beginning to shine. There is a cosmic force at play, one that threatens not just this world, but many others. A great power has risen, and we must stop it before it's too late. I watched her, trying to process the enormity of her words. I had lived a simple life, until she came into it. I was just an ordinary person, but now, the reality of something much bigger was settling into my bones. Who's behind this? I asked, my voice trembling. What kind of power are we talking about? Ilara turned back to me, her eyes glistening with the weight of knowledge. It's an ancient force, one that has been dormant for centuries. But now it's awakening. It threatens the fabric of reality itself. My mind raced, trying to comprehend everything she had just said. So, what does this have to do with me? Why am I involved in this? Because you have a part to play, just as I do, she said, her voice soft but filled with purpose. We are connected, you and I. Our bond is part of a greater design. Together, we have the power to stop this force. I felt a shiver of fear and anticipation as the weight of her words sank in. So this isn't over? Our story, we still have a part to play in all of this. Ilara nodded, her eyes locking with mine. Yes, our story is just beginning. The universe has chosen us, and together, we must face the trials ahead. As she spoke those words, I realized that my life, the life I had once thought was ordinary, had been anything but. The threads of fate had been woven around me for a reason, and now, I had to embrace whatever destiny lay ahead. I'm not sure I understand everything, I said, standing up, but I'm ready to face whatever comes. Ilara smiled, and for the first time since she had reappeared, I saw the warmth in her eyes. Good. Because together, we can accomplish what seems impossible. As she took my hand, I felt the weight of the universe on my shoulders, but also the strength of our connection. Whatever came next, I knew we would face it together.